Miami. While for the Browns, the sun is set on their 1971 season. The Cowboys have been victors in the first 5 contests. But in the 6th in 1970, the Vikes bombed Dallas 54-13. As usual, defense had been the instrument of victory for Minnesota. But this 6th consecutive playoff appearance for Tom Landry featured the Cowboys as the NFL's highest-scoring team due to a 7-game hot hand held by new quarterback Roger Staubach. The Vikings, too, had a new quarterback, their punter, Bob Lee. Bud Grant had installed Lee as a starter ahead of both Gary Cazzo and Norm Snead in order to prime what some called Minnesota's pop gun offense. But the pop gun misfired the first time the Vikings had the ball. Dave Osborne fumbled, Jethro Pugh recovered for Dallas, and a valuable gift was given and received. Dwayne Thomas gained 1 yard and 2 carries, and then Roger Staubach stepped back and hit Bob Hayes for 18 yards to the Minnesota 22-yard line. But there, the People Eaters did what seems to come naturally. Number 88, Alan Page, wrecked Staubach attempting to pass, almost causing a redeeming turnover. And when Staubach scrambled out of the pocket on 3rd and 14, number 70, Jim Marshall, nailed him short of the first down. There had been preseason rumors that the mighty Marshall could no longer hold up his end for the Purple, but this season and this game were to be among his very best. Marshall's punishing play forced Dallas to settle for a field goal and a 3-point lead. At the start of the second period, when the Vikings could not move out of their own territory, Bob Lee's punt occasioned the first disputed call of the game. The Vikings claimed that the rolling number 37, Isaac Thomas, deflected the bouncing ball. The officials said not so. It was not a popular call in Minnesota, for it denied the Vikings at least a recovery at the Dallas 8, and perhaps the break they needed to springboard them over the Cowboys. A repeat of that play reveals, if nothing else, that it was a very close call. Minnesota's next possession produced the game's second dispute. On 3rd down, Lee passed to Jim Lindsey in the flat. Lindsey's advance would have sustained Minnesota's drive inside the Dallas 10. But the ball was ruled trapped, and the Vikings had to settle for a game-tying field goal by Fred Cox. The Dallas offense remained stifled, and the Vikings regained the ball at their own 20. On 3rd down, Lee caught Bob Grimm free on a fly upfield, and Grimm completed a 49-yard play, squirming inside the Cowboy 30. But a scoring opportunity was dissipated by the Vikings and gained by Dallas when Bob Lee passed to soft-fingered Chuck Howley instead of Dave Osborne. Number 54, Howley, charged into field goal range. With barely a minute remaining in the half, Mike Clark drilled a 44-yarder, giving Dallas the advantage, thanks to Howley's big play, 6-3. But the Vikings still had another opportunity to squander before the gun. Number 26, Clint Jones, made a magnificent return to the ensuing kickoff. The Vikings were in business with 54 seconds remaining. But a drop pass by Dave Osborne and a sweet play at the goal line by Cowboys' Mel Renfro left it again up to Fred Cox. Fred Cox's toe had remained steadfast and true for 126 consecutive NFL games. But this second attempt went wide from the 42, and the half ended with Dallas still leading 6-3. Bud Grant restated his confident belief that young Bob Lee was a match for the Dallas Doomsday defense. when at the beginning of the third period, Lee's finger remained on the trigger of the pop gun offense. And once again, the pop gun was instituted with a misfire. Lee's floater, intended for Bob Grimm, was picked off by Cliff Harris and returned to the Minnesota 13-yard line. From there, Staubach attacked the strength of the Vikings defense, just as the Cowboy opponents will try to keep the great tackle Bob Lilly in his place by running straight at him. Staubach attacked the cat-footed pursuer Alan Page. The middle gaped open, and Dwayne Thomas honey-footed into the cornucopia, as they say. A repeat serves to treat the eye to the grace of a great running back, number 33, Dwayne Thomas. With the score 13-3, Charlie West returned the Dallas kickoff 51 yards to the Cowboy 42-yard line. But 3 plays netted only 3 yards, and Fred Cox's 46-yard field goal try hit the crossbar and fell to the ground without impact. Then Dallas began 2 series of downs that controlled the ball and the game. In the first series, Staubach established field position, passing to Mike Ditka. When subsequent plays failed, the Cowboys relinquished the football. But the Doomsday defense reclaimed it. And Staubach rewarded them with a 30-yard key third down pass to Lance Allworth. Staubach continued the drive, hitting Hill for a 10-yard gain. Then he found Bob Hayes lonely in the end zone, and Dallas held a commanding 20-3 hammer over the Vikings. From that point on, with 13:22 elapsed in the third period, the Dallas offense did not gain a first down in the face of pro football's royal proud purple defense. Time and again, Dallas's superback Dwayne Thomas drove into the crush to no gain. And in the beginning of the fourth quarter, the once-burned Alan Page made Staubach pay. Bursting over his tormentors, Page bulldoged Staubach to earth in the end zone, scoring football's most humiliating points, a safety. It was small compensation for Page, his team trailing now 20-5, but it is fitting that he should be so highlighted, for this was perhaps Alan Page's greatest game in a string of unbelievable performances by the game's greatest defensive tackle. At this point, Gary Cuozzo entered the game, replacing Bob Lee. The Vikings began the first of 3 goalward thrusts. The first was stilled when Cuozzo's pass leaked through the hands of Bob Grimm and into the hands of the Cowboys' Leroy Jordan. But the Cowboys could not gain a first down, and Cuozzo continued his bombing. Returning to the short middle patterns where he had first found success, Cuozzo hits Stu Voigt. Cuozzo connected with Voigt again and again, at last in the end zone, capping Minnesota's quarter-long desperation drive with 2:08 remaining. The Dallas offense could not exhaust the clock, and once again the Doomsday defense stood at bay. But Cuozzo's last, most desperate pass was intercepted by Herb Adderley, and Dallas won this seventh and most important meeting between two superb teams, 20-13. And in Minnesota this Christmas Day, it was not a jubilant throng of fans that dismantled the goalposts. The job was done by workmen after a long pro season at Metropolitan Stadium.
I'll be right back with your new